Right now at 6, students from underserved areas get a new fast track to medical school. We'll explain how the Rural Health Scholars Program works.
And another hot and muggy day for us out there, but a beautiful start. Nice colors from that sunrise there. We'll have a look at your forecast and some pop-up storm chances coming up.
Plus, a long empty building in Joplin finally gets demolished, and the city uses federal rescue funds to clear the way for a housing development.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now, but no, sorry, you just said the time. It is July 23rd, Wednesday.
It's still 6.
It is still 6 a.m. Yeah. Almost 6:01 now. That's how long it took me to figure out where we're going today. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I spent too much time in the heat. So, of course, the Freeman building being demolished, you guys know my love for it, so I went by and watched it. I think I just stood out in the heat for a little too long. It cooked the brain up here a little bit,
But happens. You know what? I'm sure it was a special moment for you nonetheless.
It was. We got to take home some bricks.
Right.
You know, so we got that there. So very neat that they're doing that. Nice housing development on the way. It'll be great to see that site being used. And it's going to be great to stay inside your home and watch the demolition take place instead of going out there because it's another hot one for us. Quick look outside downtown Pittsburgh. We got a nice sunrise, a few clouds out there this morning, but nothing too crazy at this point. Eventually going partly cloudy through the morning hours. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line in Joplin looking back to the north. We've got folks out there starting that Wednesday morning commute, and we have heat advisories again. Kansas, Missouri, they still run through Thursday. Northeast Oklahoma, they run through 8 this evening, but again, like I said, Tulsa goes day by day. These will be reissued very likely again for tomorrow, but we did see Delaware and Benton counties get dropped out of those heat advisories, so that's helpful. It doesn't mean it's okay to run around outside at 100 miles an hour. It still is hot, still muggy. Heat index values remaining in that 100 to 105 degree range, keeping heat-related illnesses possible, but of course susceptible populations, kids, elderly, pets, and those with certain medical conditions. Even this heat can be a bit much for them, so make sure you're checking in on them, and of course make sure you're taking care of yourself if you got to be outdoors, like those demolition crews. Man, I don't know how they do it because it was very hot yesterday. We got partly cloudy skies as we head into the afternoon. Between 2 and 7, we'll have an opportunity for an isolated pop-up storm or two, mainly west of I-49. Future track again, it looked like a lot of rain, not really expecting a lot of rain. It's just highlighting that those are slightly better chances for pop-up storms out there. Most of us, though, will remain dry. Temperatures this morning, they are warm, but they are better than where they have been the last couple of days. 75 in Joplin, 72 in Pittsburgh. Yesterday, we started the day at about 80 in Joplin and Pittsburgh. Most of us are in the low to mid 70s, which is certainly better. Chanute a little warmer at 77. And again, remember on Monday, Iola had a heat index of almost 90 degrees at 5 a.m., which is just wild. So again, this morning, it's still warm, it's still humid, but at least temperatures are a wee bit better out there. Low 80s by 9, low 90s by noon, mid 90s for our highs. Got those pop-up storm chances. South winds gusting to 25. And as I mentioned, heat index values today 100 to 105 across the area, so stay hydrated. We are going to continue with the heat for a while. It is July. We're getting ready to roll into August. It's going to stay hot. It's going to be muggy. But we do have some additional rain chances. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll check in with you soon, Chris. Thanks. Well, a recent report from the National Rural Health Association shows that physician shortages continue to grow. And now local community colleges and universities are working together to make sure those in the 4 states get the care they need. Leaders from 8 area community colleges, Missouri Southern, PSU, and Kansas City University Joplin, launched the Rural Health Scholars Program yesterday. The goal is to fast-track students from underserved areas into careers as doctors and dentists.
We'll be starting by getting students enrolled in the Rural Health Scholars Program and seeing them start to accomplish their dreams of becoming a healthcare provider. That's going to be the first level of success, and then someday they're going to be practitioners taking care of 4-state citizens, and that's going to be the next level of success.
A bit later on the KOAM Morning News, we'll take a look at the numbers and the impact of rural health care shortages in the 4 states. Well, piece by piece, the old Freeman building in Joplin is officially coming down. Crews started the demolition yesterday on the site at 20th and Sargent. The century-old structure, which has been vacant for several years, is being cleared to make way for future redevelopment. The city of Joplin is helping with the removal of asbestos and demolition of the building using American Rescue Plan Act funding. The site was privately owned but has been donated to the Economic Security Corporation, who plans to develop affordable housing on the property. Well, doctors say patients need extra support after surgery, and a donation from the Arvest Foundation to Mercy Joplin will help provide just that. Arvest donation will be used to help buy cardiac recovery pillows for patients healing from open heart surgery. Now, these heart-shaped pillows can provide comfort, reduce pain, and protect the patient's incision site. The $4,000 donation will help provide these pillows for at least 200 patients. Those who work with heart surgery patients say these pillows will have a big impact in helping with recovery.
Heart surgery involves so many people and it affects so many people that I think it's a major community issue, and having other partners in the community realize that it's an important health concern and partnering with us to support our patients and our team, I'm beyond grateful to see that.
Now, this is one of several projects the Arvest Foundation has helped provide with Mercy, and Mercy staff say previous donations have provided potentially life-saving equipment, including free mammograms, a fetal monitor, and an infant warmer. And our community stories are often uncovered thanks to you, our viewers. Now, we invite you to share your news tips with us, and you can do so by scanning this QR code, and you'll be taken to a form where you can submit a tip quickly and easily. Your voice helps keep our community informed and connected. A Danish artist who isn't letting our waste go to waste brings some of his creations to the United States. Thomas Dambo and his team created about 170 troll sculptures from discarded materials, including wooden pallets, old furniture, and wine barrels. An installation of 6 sculptures called Trolls Save the Humans is on display at a historic site near San Francisco. Dambo's trolls each have their own personality and story, or tall tales, if you will, standing up to 40 feet. He hopes the trolls will inspire people to practice the art of greener living.
It's all made out of trash together with volunteers. And I think that is such a huge proof of concept of why we should not throw things out, but why we should recycle it and see it into a second life and a third life.
Well, Dambo's team creates about 25 trolls every year. They can be found hidden in forests, mountains, jungles, and grasslands around the world and in 21 U.S. states. The legend known as the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, is dead. He was 76 years old. The 3-time Grammy Award winner sold more than 100 million records and is considered one of the greatest singers of all time by Rolling Stone. Jared Hill looks back at his iconic music career.
Ozzy Osbourne rose to fame in the 1970s as the lead singer of Black Sabbath, pioneering heavy metal music along the way. The band's music became a symbol of devil-worshipping and Satanism, though Ozzy, born John Michael Osbourne, said he was a member of the Church of England. The Crazy Train singer was known for his crazy antics on stage. He once bit the head off a bat, though admitted he thought it wasn't real, and later was fired from the band due to problems with drugs and alcohol. But Osbourne had a successful solo career and did reunite with Black Sabbath several times over the years.
I've been saying I want to retire, and I'll never retire. I'll be always doing something with music. It's what I'm here for.
Younger fans may have been introduced to the Prince of Darkness as the first celebrity dad of reality TV, when he and his wife Sharon and 2 of their 3 children starred on MTV's The Osbournes in the early 2000s. In 2019, Ozzy was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease and lost his ability to walk, which forced the rocker to cancel a tour. Ozzy did, though, give fans one last thrill, reuniting with Black Sabbath earlier this month for what he called his final live performance. It was a charity concert in his hometown of Birmingham, England.
and I sobbed the whole way through because he's legend.
In a statement, Osbourne's family said he was with his family and surrounded by love when he died. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Well, Osbourne is one of a handful of artists who has had top 10 albums in each of the last 6 decades. And that's a look at our this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, we meet a 9-year-old who fears heights, but at Camp Rock, she's conquering that fear along with other children who refuse to let differences define them. Plus, Republicans and Democrats unite to demand Epstein file releases, but House Speaker Mike Johnson calls it a political game. We take a look at the showdown that's dividing Washington. And Chris returns with another look at your Wednesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Lamar City Park. Well, topping Nation Watch, the House of Representatives is starting its summer recess early today, a move made by Republican leaders to avoid a vote on the Epstein files. Now, as the Department of Justice plans to interview Epstein's accomplice, President Trump is turning his focus to former President Obama, generating a rare response from his office. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill has more from New York.
Well, the question is on the motion to adjourn. Those in favor say aye.
House Speaker Mike Johnson is sending lawmakers home early for summer break rather than dealing with a bipartisan push to force a vote on releasing more files on Jeffrey Epstein.
What we refuse to do is participate in another one of the Democrats' political games.
But Republicans like Kentucky's Thomas Massey are also leading the charge.
It would behoove the Speaker to bring this to the floor. Just vote this out. Give it to the Senate and let them do their thing.
It's an issue that's roiled the Trump administration for weeks. His deputy attorney general says he wants to interview Epstein's co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell, currently serving 20 years for conspiring to sexually abuse minors. It's a plan the president says he wasn't aware of.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but I think it's something that sounds appropriate to do, yeah.
President Trump then pivoted to former President Barack Obama over an intelligence report concerning his administration's investigation into allegations Russia tried to influence the 2016 election.
He's guilty. This was treason. This was every word you can think of. They tried to steal the election.
In a rare response, the former president's office called the comments a weak attempt at distraction.
They caught President Obama absolutely cold.
His allegations came during a meeting on trade with the president of the Philippines, which resulted in a deal of 19% tariffs on imports from that country.
It's a great deal for everybody.
Later, another trade deal with Japan, lowering a proposed 25% tariff to 15%. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Well, President Trump says as part of that deal, Japan will also invest $550 billion into the U.S. Japan was America's 5th largest trading partner last year with massive imports of cars, electronics, and chemicals. Well, still to come, from boosting immunity to improving mental health, scientists prove laughter delivers real medical benefits. We'll take a look. Plus, hot and humid conditions continue today in the 4 states. Chris takes another look at your forecast when we come back. Well, kids whose hands and arms look different are climbing to new heights at Camp Rock, hosted by the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Stephanie Stahl shows us how these kids are learning adaptive rock climbing skills and creating bonds with others just like them.
Yep, I'm ready. 10-year-old Nate Brandt is clipped in and hits the wall, climbing to new heights, working around his left hand that's small, something he was born with that he's given a nickname.
I usually call it a lucky fin.
A lucky fin. Yeah. I love that.
It sometimes gets annoying, explaining it because people always ask.
He explains it's just part of who he is, something that doesn't stop him here at Camp Rock for children with hand and arm differences.
This could mean any combination of things. It could be shortened limb, larger limbs, missing fingers.
Megan Penke is an occupational therapist at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia who created this camp for patients like Noah Hanko, who has a congenital disorder that causes an overgrowth of his hands.
Sometimes I can't open jars and stuff.
Okay.
And also, like, it's small buttons I can't do.
But he has no problem on the rock climbing wall and doing crafts surrounded by other children who know what it's like to be different, who get used to the comments and questions.
Wow, those are big hands. What happened?
And what do you say?
God created me that way.
In addition to having fun, this camp is also designed to help the kids build confidence.
Hopefully impact their overall self-concept and confidence in life, so they just understand that they really can move forward and do anything that they want to do in life.
But it sort of feels like really weird and uncomfortable for me.
Right.
In some positions.
Kennedy Bracken, who has a birth injury to her shoulder, is excited about rock climbing, where she's conquering fears.
I am afraid of heights, and it's scary to look down a little bit, but I'm a lot less scared than I was on the first day.
Learning it can be fun to overcome challenges.
I love Camp Rock. It's amazing.
A place where differences are embraced and empowered. Stephanie Stahl, CBS News.
And this is the first summer CHOP has run this camp where their orthopedic and rehab teams are working with climbing instructors to make sure the kids have a safe and productive experience. Let's head over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, got again another beautiful view of the sunrise this morning. Just a few clouds out there. Another hot and muggy day with heat advisories continuing. We're going to have another look at your forecast. Time now 6:21. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Just after 6:23 now on this Wednesday morning, starting again with the future track, which we haven't shown you a lot lately because there hasn't really been anything to show you. But today, that changes a bit. We'll have some partly cloudy skies out there, and then between about 2 and 7, could get some isolated pop-up storms west of I-49 out there. Future track I know makes it look like it's a lot. The only reason there's a bit more green on here is because the pop-up storm chances are looking a little better, at least for some folks. But remember, they'll be isolated. The majority of us will remain dry, hot, and muggy. Then we go into Thursday. Could get an isolated shower storm at far northwestern counties in the morning, just from a system that's going to just barely clip us. But as we go in the afternoon, more pop-up storms possible. And then by late evening, I guess it's going to be confined into southeast Kansas at this point. Some of the new model data this morning is suggesting some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Not looking at anything severe at this point, but late evening, some of our northern counties, some of our far western counties here could again get a few scattered showers and storms starting around, say, 7, 8 o'clock in the evening and continuing through about midnight or so. They'll have a few lingering storms in our far northern counties by early Friday morning. Once those clear out, it'll set the stage for another round of isolated pop-up storms by Friday afternoon and evening. And then overnight Friday, again, northern counties at this point could get a couple of additional scattered showers or storms, but unfortunately, the most meaningful rainfall really looks to be confined well north of the US 54 corridor, so that doesn't do us a lot of good down here. Our heat index values, again, in that up to 100, 105 out there over the next few days, but by Saturday, it really starts to climb. We've got more of those lower 100 heat index values out there on Thursday. Friday, a lot of those again, but a few more getting closer to that 105 range for sure. And by Saturday, some of us might even get a little beyond the 105 in some cases, but we're still at 100 to 105. Now, our heat advisories continue through Thursday. Kansas, Missouri. We still have them in parts of northeast Oklahoma. Delaware and Benton County have been dropped from those for the time being. National Weather Service is monitoring the heat potential beyond Thursday, so could we see these reissued or extended into the weekend? It's a possibility. We certainly want to keep an eye on it. Could we see them expand again? Again, not out of the realm of possibility as we continue to deal with these high heat index values. And just a nice reminder, again, that we do have a number of heat safety tips. And as long as this dangerous heat continues, we're going to include these heat safety tip graphics in our forecast at KOAMnewsnow.com/forecast. So every time you check it, you'll find those graphics in there, and they'll give you some useful tips on things you can do to keep yourself, your family, your friends, your pets, and everybody else safe during the heat. Near 80 to start our day, near 90 by 11 o'clock this morning. Partly cloudy skies, and again between about 2 and 7, isolated pop-up storms. Otherwise, highs mid-90s, south winds gusting to 25, and those heat index values again climbing upwards of 105. Rain wraps up by about 7. Again, it's isolated chances at that, but still some chances. Low 80s, still very warm by 10 o'clock tonight. Mid-70s overnight, south breeze 5 to 10, and we'll continue with partly cloudy skies. Into the future we go. I wish it was going to be better, and it's just not. It's July, heading into August. We really got spoiled at the beginning of summer. I guess we just have to make up for it. Mid to upper 90s next couple of days. Our storm chances out there. Still breezy tomorrow. Hot, dry, sunny through the weekend and the start of next week. And as we head into the second half of next week, we do start to see some additional pop-up storm chances. It brings our temperatures down a little closer to normal. So that's some good news there at least. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over now to Elise with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, we've all heard that laughter is the best medicine, and it turns out that there might actually be something to it. Studies show laughter is associated with a number of benefits and can positively affect the immune system, stress levels, heart health, pain, and mental health. Experts with UCLA Health and the Mayo Clinic have a simple suggestion to take advantage of this. Be an easy laugh. Find the humor in the people and places around you and look up funny videos on the internet.
Just makes you feel better. I've done a deep dive on the science of it, and I mean, it can help your immune system, your cardiovascular system, it lowers stress hormones, and interestingly enough, it can actually decrease pain. And it looks like it increases endorphins in the brain when you have a big belly laugh. And there was a...
Well, CBS News chief medical correspondent Dr. John LaPook says, bottom line, laughter just makes you feel better. The COVID pandemic may have aged our brains. A study by the University of Nottingham found people who lived through the pandemic showed signs of faster brain aging on scans, with the changes most noticeable in men, the elderly, and people from disadvantaged backgrounds. Only people who were infected with the virus between their scans showed a decrease in some cognitive abilities, such as mental flexibility and processing speed. And the use of artificial intelligence is becoming more common in medicine, but new research shows even advanced AI can make some simple mistakes. Researchers at Mount Sinai tested AI programs with basic medical ethics questions and found the technology often made obvious mistakes and jumped to wrong conclusions. The study's authors say AI does have a place in medicine, but there needs to be human oversight. And a University of Sydney study found cannabis and psychedelics like magic mushrooms can help alleviate symptoms for people suffering from eating disorders. Commonly prescribed drugs like antidepressants were found to help with mental health, but not with eating disorder symptoms. Researchers say more study is needed to determine if cannabis and psychedelics could be an effective treatment. That's a look at Health Watch. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, a detainee calls his wife during a press conference to describe conditions inside an Everglades facility.
And we've got a pretty nice sunrise out there, but more heat advisories in place and maybe even some pop-up storm chances. A look at your forecast coming up.
Kansas City University creates a new strategy to bring more doctors and dentists into rural areas. I'm Lonnie Walton in Joplin. I'll have that story coming up.
State's most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's just coming up on 6:33. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Wednesday, July the 23rd, and it is another hot one.
It certainly is. It just feels like it doesn't end. It's because it's not.
No, it's not going to end anytime soon. I mean, we're really into the dog days of summer.
We really are.
Cruising through late July, early August. It's really getting toasty, unfortunately. But that is just the way it is. Thankfully, we haven't had any record highs, which is good. But it's still been some dangerous heat across the region as well. And another day of heat advisories for us also. Let's start with that live look downtown Pittsburgh. Sun is rising. Of course, it's a little bit hazy. It's a little bit muggy already this morning. That will be the trend again out there. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line in Joplin looking good as well. There's those heat advisories again. Kansas, Missouri, they run through Thursday. Tulsa Weather Service office still goes day by day, so these expire at 8 this evening, but they'll very likely be reissued for tomorrow. However, Delaware and Benton County have been dropped out of those heat advisories. We're still in that zone of 100 to 105 degree heat index values, keeping heat-related illnesses possible. But again, pets, elderly, children, folks with certain medical conditions, This heat is more like this heat in some cases, just because they're a little more susceptible to that. So just make sure you're checking up on them, and of course taking care of yourself, staying hydrated out there as well. Future track, we've got some partly cloudy skies into the afternoon, and between 2 and 7 an isolated pop-up storm or two certainly will be possible. Most of us will remain dry, but at least we do have those pop-up storm chances as we roll into the afternoon hours. Temperatures this morning still above average for many of us, but better than where they have been. 75 in Joplin, 72 in Pittsburgh right now. No major heat index values this morning, which is great as well. Still got a lot of low to mid 70s. Chanute, the warmer spot at 77, a little bit warmer there. And no heat index values again, no major ones. And remember, again, on Monday, Iola at 5 a.m. had a heat index of nearly 90 degrees at 5 o'clock in the morning. So that's still warm, it's still muggy, but it is, again, an improvement over what we've seen the last several days. Low 80s by 9, low 90s by noon, mid 90s for our highs. Pop-up storm chances there. South winds gusting to 25. And again, heat index values upwards of 100 to 105 degrees. So you really got to stay hydrated and stay indoors if you can. The heat, unfortunately, continues. It will get a little worse. Then it's going to get slightly better. And we have some additional thunderstorm chances here and there. Not great ones, but they're there. We'll go over all those details with you in the full forecast. Of course, that's coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, activists in southern Florida are calling for the immediate shutdown of the immigrant detention center known as Alligator Alcatraz. Florida nonprofits and medical professionals joined with families of detainees in the Everglades yesterday, demanding the site be shut down due to the inhumane conditions. One detainee called his wife during the press conference. She said he has a foot fungus due to water on the floor and is often treated harshly by the guards. Other reports say food and water are substandard. Getting prescription medication can be difficult, and the heat and humidity is dangerous. Activists also rallied against the name the Trump administration has given the facility.
Alligator Alcatraz was designed to be a joke. Is this a joke? No. Yeah. Is this a joke? No. To mock the very real suffering of migrants, to strip up fear, to stir up fear, and to turn human rights violations into campaign slogans.
Florida officials say a facility meets the standards required by law. Governor Ron DeSantis told reporters yesterday he feels some of the claims being made are exaggerated, and facilities like this are necessary to handle the Trump administration's mass deportations. The Labette County Fair in Oswego, Kansas kicked off yesterday with the poultry show, marking the fair's 114th year. Exhibitors showcased their birds, and the day also featured livestock events like the bucket calf show and beef show. For one exhibitor, the poultry show provided valuable insights.
You have to name all the body parts of your chickens and make sure your chicken's calm and everything.
The fair runs through Saturday. And a recent report from the National Rural Health Association shows that physician shortages continue to grow. That study showing the burnout and staffing shortages are making a problem even worse. Now, multiple groups are coming together to address the problem right here. KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports the goal is to fast-track students from underserved areas into careers as doctors and dentists.
We need more medical professionals in this region.
Chris Childers is the Dean of Arts and Sciences at Pitt State University. Addressing the shortages of doctors and dentists in the four-state area is why Kansas City and Joplin, MSSU, Pitt State, and 8 community colleges are teaming up.
And if we're going to really improve health outcomes in rural communities, we've got to have better access to health care, which means more healthcare providers.
The program aims to provide high school students a fast track to becoming a doctor or a dentist.
I think we all hope to see is students in high schools from these small towns and rural communities go through this pathway. So in many cases that would be attending a community college for a year and then coming to Missouri Southern State University or Pitt State University.
Not only that, these educators hope these students won't forget where they came from.
So it's so important that we work together long term to keep talent here, to grow that talent, to provide opportunities.
Students who have a substantial background of growing up in rural communities Smaller communities are much more likely to return and establish practices in those types of communities.
Now, normally these schools are about competition for students in athletics and more, but for this cause, they're pulling it together.
We're all here to serve students, and I think it's exciting that the opportunities that will be provided.
I think today was a historic day because we are today one team.
And professionals I spoke to today says the biggest thing they want to see is change. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
KCU Joplin officials say nearly 65% of primary care health professional shortages are in rural areas, and less than 12% of physicians practice there. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Money is tight for Americans, but new research reveals what people refuse to cut from their budgets. And are you counting on Social Security for your retirement? Well, a new survey shows you're not alone. We're going to take a look at why that might be the problem. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from the Lamar City Park. In Consumer Watch, a new AARP survey finds about 2/3 of retirees say they substantially rely on Social Security payments for their retirement income or plan to do so. Now that's compared to around half of retirees asked the same question in 2005. The AARP says more than 3/4 of Americans are concerned Social Security won't provide enough money for their retirement as the program faces funding challenges. And a new index from the corporate travel management company Navan shows business travel was up 15% in the second quarter compared to last year. Overseas hotel spending increased 17% compared to 12% on the domestic side. And taxi and rideshare booking also showed growth with a jump of more than 20%. And chocolate lovers, beware, a price increase is on the horizon. Hershey announced it's raising prices on its chocolate products in response to rising cocoa costs globally. The company says customers should expect a low double-digit increase in the coming months. The most of the world's cocoa comes from West Africa, which has recently struggled with heavy rains and heat waves leading to disease wilting crops. That's a look at Consumer Watch. Let's head over now to Chris for a quick look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got a sunny start to the day, looking at partly cloudy skies. Heat advisories continuing for some of us as we remain hot and muggy. Maybe even some pop-up storms. We are going to have the absolute latest on all of this, and maybe even some additional thunderstorm chances as we head into Thursday, again, for at least some of us. Full look at your forecast, birthdays and anniversaries coming up. Time now is 6:44. Time now for some Wednesday birthdays in the 4 states, and we're going to start with Bree Beasley in Girard, celebrating birthday number 5. Happy birthday.
And a happy 12th birthday in Pittsburgh to Isaiah Adam.
And in Oswego, Colleen Newby is celebrating birthday number 12 today. It says happy birthday from Mom, Dad, Cecilia, and Cooper. Have a great birthday at the fair.
And a happy birthday to Lacey Moore in Girard, turning 42 today.
And Carlisle Flanagan celebrating birthday number 84 in Jasper. Very happy birthday to you.
And a happy 99th birthday to Florence Kimry in Pittsburgh. It says with love from Deanna, Tom, Roosevelt, your grand and great grandchildren.
I love that throwback picture there with her as well. Absolutely incredible. Our list does continue. We've also got Janie Ruddick in Columbus celebrating a birthday today. It says happy birthday from your family and church family.
And last but not least, a happy 73rd birthday to Jim Ganaway in Crestline.
All right, another fantastic list of birthdays and anniversaries. And if you would like to celebrate with us, Elise has information you need to know.
Yes, please submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@koamnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those wonderful photos and messages didn't meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen.
Absolutely. And of course, we do have hot, muggy conditions continuing across the area for us today. Future Track. We haven't pulled up Future Track in a while because, well, there hadn't really been a lot on Future Track, really. But we do have something to show you now. Between 2 and 7 today, we'll have an opportunity, mainly west of I-49, for some isolated pop-up storms. Now, Future Track's showing a little more green because it thinks there might be, a few extra pop-up storms. We'll wait and see how it plays out. But still, since they will be isolated in nature, most of us will remain dry, unfortunately. We go overnight, partly cloudy skies. Early Friday, not Friday, tomorrow's Thursday. I wish it was Friday. I'm sure you do too. But Thursday morning, we've got a system off to our northwest. Might try and scrape our northwestern counties with a few showers, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder out there. Most of us, again, dry. And then by Thursday afternoon, initially some pop-up storms. And then some of the new data again this morning that we've looked at, it's beginning to suggest that maybe, just maybe, we could get some scattered thunderstorms, primarily into southeast Kansas, after about 5, 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Not expecting anything severe, but we could get a few scattered storms out there, so some of you might actually get some meaningful rainfall and maybe even feel a little cooler for a minute. We'll see how this pans out, but you could also see that these storms are confined to southeast Kansas and they begin to fizzle out, and just our northern counties by Friday morning having a few showers and storms out there. By Friday afternoon, another round of pop-up showers and storms, and then late in the day and overnight, again, our far northern counties might get an isolated storm or two up there with at least, again, some meaningful rainfall. But over the next few days, the majority of us still expected to remain dry, hot, and muggy. Heat index values again today, 100 to 105. As you can see, though, not everybody quite reaching 100 out there for some of these heat index values. We go into Thursday, now we're starting to see a few more folks getting into that 100 to 105 range. That will continue into Friday as well. At Saturday, between Friday and Saturday, a couple of our hottest days this week in terms of air temperature being well above normal, and that's going to send more of our heat index values into that 100 to 105 degree range as well. So right now, our heat advisories, again, they will expire Thursday evening, Kansas, Missouri. Tulsa, again, going day by day. That's just how they operate. So these expired 8 this evening, but again, we already have these in place for today because they were reissued yesterday for today. So you get the idea. However, Delaware and Benton County were pulled out of those heat advisories, so that's at least some slight good news. Other than that, we'll just have to keep an eye. National Weather Service offices are monitoring the potential for the heat to continue through the weekend and at least into the beginning of next week with some of these high heat index values. So it wouldn't surprise me in the next few days if these get extended or maybe possibly spread over a larger area as we get closer to the weekend, because again, it's going to be hot, it's going to be muggy, it's going to be unfortunate. And remember, we do have a number of heat safety tips on our website at KOAMNewsNow.com/forecast. So in our forecast updates on our website, we have these heat safety graphics. We show you some of them here, but there are a lot more with a lot of great resources on our website. And as long as the extreme heat continues, we will continue to include these in our forecast updates online. I've got information. You've seen this one before. It talks about things you need to check on, things you need to do to take care of yourself and others, as well as your pets. We've got another one, great resources on the differences between heat exhaustion and heat stroke, what you need to look for, and then just some additional general heat safety tips. So a lot of great resources there for you. Again, KOAMNewsNow.com/forecast. There's that sun shining so bright, just allowing all this heat to settle in. Partly cloudy skies through the morning, near 80 by 8 o'clock this morning, near 90 by 11 a.m. We're going to have another look at your forecast as well as your wake-up recap in just a moment. And when we transition to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to tell you about a priest who knows miracles firsthand and is now bringing hope to young patients facing their own battles. That and more at 7. Time now, 6:52.
Well, this is your Wake Up Recap for July 23rd. The top stories to start your day. A donation from the Arvis Foundation will help provide extra support after surgery for Mercy patients. Arvis donation will be used to help buy cardiac recovery pillows for patients healing from open heart surgery. The $4,000 donation will help provide these pillows for at least 200 patients. Mercy staff say previous donations have provided potentially life-saving equipment, including free mammograms, a fetal monitor, and an infant warmer. And leaders from 8 area community colleges, Missouri Southern, PSU, and Kansas City University Joplin launched the Rural Health Scholars Program yesterday afternoon. The goal is to fast-track students from underserved areas into careers as doctors and dentists. KCU Joplin officials say nearly 65% of primary care health professional shortages are in rural areas, and less than 12% of physicians practice there. And Moccasins Across America is a prayer and healing walk that started in California in May, and they've made their way to Miami, Oklahoma yesterday. Participants are walking to Washington, D.C. and will arrive there in October. At the end of the walk in Washington, the group hopes to have a meeting with President Trump. And that's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
And our heat advisories continue for some of us as we head through at least Thursday. Today, heat index values could reach 105. Isolated pop-up storms, mainly in southeast Kansas, between 2 and 7. Highs today, mid-90s. South winds gusting to 25. Partly cloudy through the evening and overnight, back down to the mid-70s. Pop-up storms possible in the first part of our Thursday, then maybe a few scattered storms in parts of southeast Kansas later in the evening. Still hot, still muggy, still breezy. Mid-upper 90s. Our hottest days tomorrow through at least Saturday. We dry out, stay hot through the weekend, and more pop-up storm chances by next week. So just make sure you're staying hydrated and taking care of yourself out there.
Certainly, Chris, thanks. And coming up today at noon, we're making teriyaki chicken thighs in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we will be hearing about ways that you can take care of your mental health.
That's certainly important there. And lots of important things. You got to just make sure you take care of yourself in general out there, because it's hot, it's muggy, it's miserable. And you got to take care of your mental health. The heat can play a role in that as well.
It can be draining.
It's very draining, makes you tired, makes you fatigued. You can't get out as much, you can't enjoy as much. So very important to take care of yourself over the next several days.
Absolutely, certainly so.
Well, that is going to wrap it up for us for now. We are going to be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.